Alrighty, welcome to. Oh, I wonder if this is in the way. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, maybe you guys saw it, maybe you didn't. Anyway, welcome to your money sign, book 1, Follow the Rules. In this segment number 3, we are going to be talking about money triggers. A trigger is when you move towards pleasure and away from pain. Please remember that whatever your ego stance is, we are all animals. We are all biological creatures. The brain is wired to keep us away from pain. You need to remember that if we are children and we're walking along and a snake bites us and we get very sick, well, the brain needs to have a way to remind us not to go toward other snakes. And it's trying to help, but sometimes it can be misguided. Let's say you get bit by a snake and get very sick. Well, you might actually be afraid of sticks, twigs, straight lines, anything that might be slightly reminiscent of that pain that you felt. So that's what we're talking about here is money triggers. Man, this is such an important topic, and you will hear people talk about triggers when you're talking about childhood abuse, or you'll hear them talking about triggers if it's like an actual physical injury. It triggered his knee, and that's why he couldn't play basketball, or something like that. And I think that there is this gigantic, I don't even think, I know from the decade that I have been doing this, it's so huge. People have money triggers. And the thing is that snake that bit you, it might have just been like a garden snake. It might not even have been venomous, but you felt bad, or maybe you caught a cold around the same time, and so your brain misinterpreted that the snake hurt you greatly. And that's what I really want you to start thinking about is in what ways has money or the topic of money or even the bare idea of the topic of money has hurt you or caused you pain in some way. As I go through this, please really think about what in the ways has money been painful to you. For most of my 20s, I used money to buy sweets, which is probably why I have no front teeth. It was emotionally rewarding for myself. The cakes, the ice cream, the cheesecakes, the candy, the soda, I mean, every meal, every time. And I saw friends who would like go through a breakup and then go buy an entire wardrobe on credit cards as a way to feel sexually desirable, both men and women. Okay, this is not a gender bias thing. There's a friend that they didn't like the car that his uncle had bought him, so he traded it in to feel independent, even though he really could not afford that car payment. These were all triggers. Nobody could come to me in my 20s and say, oh, well, even though you're completely depressed and feel completely alone and your children have just been kidnapped, well, we want you to go ahead and have some extra candy. Because that 50 cents, you shouldn't spend it. No, nobody could have convinced me otherwise. Nobody. Okay, after a breakup, somebody that you really care about, somebody that was really important to you, and maybe they did like my ex did after having kids, calling me fat. Yeah, I just had 2 children. Yeah, I gained some weight. Like, what the fuck? And so I would get a cake. I would reward myself. I had no idea at the time that cake would up my insulin and hurt the problem even more. I just knew that I was emotionally hurting and I needed a reward. When you're going through a breakup, you know that you're feeling, sexually undesirable, and then you need a reward. And what's a better way of rewarding it than saying, hey, I feel great in this new shirt. Hey, I feel fantastic in this new look. People are complimenting me. I'm getting other people who are looking at me like I'm sexually desirable. Fantastic. Or if you've been, especially in a controlling family, being able to do something, anything, even if it's self-sabotage, to say, fuck you, I'm independent, I'm my own boss, I'm gonna be who I am. And you don't care in the moment about your finances. These are all deeper issues. These are all triggers that are happening that are hurting our money. And I'm so sick and tired of all these financial books making it sound like, oh, well, just put in money when you're 20 years old, and by the time you're 65, you might have enough to buy a house, an average size house, by the time you're 65 because of inflation. That that's just this horrible advice. And I want you to really start thinking about the times that you got emotionally hurt and you spent money toward the problem. That's what we're talking about here. Oh, sorry, my little rant. This is a huge point that is just completely void of any of the financial self-help books I've ever read. And I've been reading them for like 10 years now, okay? So, like, this is not, oh, I read 2 books and now I'm an expert. If you've known me at all, I usually can get through 1 to 2 books a day. I'm a trucker right now, and audio books are great, and I love to read. I get into something, and 6 hours have gone by, and I'm like, oh, crap, all right, well, that was good. Some people binge watch fantasy stuff, and I binge self-help books. So if you're saying you don't have the time to read, just understand that's probably also a financial trigger for you. You've got something in there that is painful, whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, even perception of pain. Oh, if I start changing who I am, the people I love won't like me anymore. That's a perception of pain that people think, oh, that has nothing to do with money. Why are you even talking about it? It has everything to do with money, people. Money is a tool. Money is a magnifier. If you are in pain, you are not going to care what tools you are handed. If you are in pain, it's just going to magnify even more pain. When people say, money doesn't buy happiness, oh, look at that rich person, they're in pain. I guarantee you they were in pain before they were rich. I guarantee you they had issues. Just like when you see people who, oh, they get married, oh, that was so awesome, and then the marriage like explodes in a couple of months. I guarantee you those issues were already there. Marriage is a tool. Money is a tool. They are useful and helpful in the right circumstance. A hammer is extremely useful, but it's not going to do you much if you're trying to fry an egg. It's really not going to help you much. You'd rather have a spatula, you know? Just start to understand. Yes, read the financial books. Yes, understand those theories and whatever, self-help books that you believe will help you for financial-wise, go ahead and read them. But always, 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 when you're reading them or even thinking about reading them, keep a little ticker in the back of your brain going, what makes me think that this could potentially cause pain? Or what makes me remember a time when I was in pain? Those are the triggers. That's what I want you to talk about. That's what I need you to start thinking about. You need to notice pain. You need to feel the pain, fully feel the pain, cry it out. Mom and dad would never buy me those cool sneakers, and so I always got made fun of in school, and so the girl I liked didn't go to prom with me. If that's how you feel, then think it all the way through, cry it all the way out, punch it out on a pillow if you need to, and then get a really serious, solid sleep. Let your brain recover, and then go back and start reading it again. I guarantee you, if you allow yourself to fully feel the pain and to recover, give yourself some time to recover, not wallow, recover. That means rest, that means good water, that means good food. Fully recover and then come back to it. I have seen huge changes in people, huge changes in people. Do not act like money is somehow separate from your pain, because it's not. It's really not. And people who have done that say, oh, no. It's don't mix personal and pleasure and keep the emotions out of it. Those are the people who are repressing emotions. Those are the people who are not healing from the emotions. We need to heal from our money triggers, because otherwise you're just going to keep getting triggered. All right, Book 1, Chapter 1, Segment 3. Sure, it's easy to tell someone to brush it off, but it's much more difficult when you're the one looking in the mirror and hating what you see. The brain does not like rejection, pain, or discomfort, and we are all masters of rationalizing ourselves out of any situation if we tell ourselves it will make us feel better. Back to my point, sure, there is a level of financial intelligence that we all must learn. We really must. How to balance our finances. What's the difference between a CPA and an IRA? What in the world is a HODL? etc. Like there's just a whole other language. And if you only speak one language, estudio 14 idiomas para mí. So if you're not used to speaking other languages, then you have to understand it's going to take some time just to learn the lingo, just to understand what's going on. When I say, oh yeah, I'm going to steak some sheep, do you even know what I mean? And if you don't, that's okay. These are the things we can learn, okay? So don't get overwhelmed. Understand and expect there to be resistance. And there are great resources out there talking about all this surface stuff, okay? I am not a one-stop shop. I really am not. I don't even try to be. I really believe that if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're the one who should be teaching. But if all you're ever doing is teaching, then you're never learning. And I am obsessed with learning. So I want to be bringing light to this underbelly of finances that people are not talking about. And that's the triggers, that's the emotion, that's the self-sabotage that nobody that I've seen has really addressing. That's my area of focus. If you're needing financial advice, if you're needing attorney advice, if you're needing to learn new vocabulary, me personally, the first thing I always go to is YouTube. The second place I always go to is thrift books. I love thrift books. I get a free book at least like once a week because I spend that much money. But whatever, it's what me. Go out there, find your other resources. But what about the times when you already know all that stuff? Let's just say you're really big on one of the main gurus who are all about budgeting your money, okay? Yet you still overspend. Or you rationalize picking up a 75-inch TV instead of making an extra payment on your mortgage. That's been my drive, to understand what is making us choose actions that we learn are not good for us, that we agree are not good for us, that we swear on a grave we'll never ever do. But then we do it anyway and just live with the regret or maybe the humiliation that from those that we promised. What's making it happen? If you were to say that you have, nowadays the buzzword is mental issue or mental health issue, or even a physical issue like a drug addiction, and you say, I'm trying and I fell off the wagon, I'm trying and I fell off the wagon. People are much more understanding of a drug addiction or of a depression or of even suicidal tendencies than they are of somebody who is like, oh my God, why did she go out and buy new shoes again? Oh my God, why did he go out and buy another watch? Like people will attack instead of have empathy, instead of have compassion, instead of saying, okay, there's something deeper there that they're doing. And I have seen it firsthand. People they want to get their finances right. They absolutely want to get their finances right. They don't want to go to Las Vegas and gamble again. And yet they'll have a fight with somebody, or they'll just get really depressed with somebody. And next thing they know, they're back at a table. And they're literally like beating themselves up mentally. And, direct words, I couldn't believe I was doing it again. And yet here I was. Like, how come there's no compassion when it comes to the inner workings that is manifested through our finances? I really want you to start kind of paying attention. Get that little ticker in the back of your head when you're spending money, when you're thinking about money. Is there any part of you that says, financially, I know I'm hurting myself? Just become aware of it. Don't hurt yourself for it. Just say, this probably isn't the best move financially. Just start becoming aware of it, okay? Because we're smart people, damn it. So what can we do to keep us from stupid financial moves? That's really, that is my drive when it comes to finances. I am smart, damn it. I may have microcranial I may have some learning disabilities I've learned about over the years, but I am not stupid, okay? And I do make some stupid financial moves, especially in the beginning, because I was just in so much emotional pain and did not have any sort of family support. Sure as hell did not have any societal support. You tell most people that you want to make money. You tell most people that you want to have financial freedom and not be part of the system. And oh my goodness, they will attack you. You tell people you're a victim of the system. Oh, I've got no money. Oh, I got no money. And they'll just come up and give you a hug and call you sweetie. But you tell them, no, I will refuse to be a victim. I will figure this out. I will be better than the system. I will have my money. And they call you greedy and they call you all sorts of whatever names because your strength is triggering their cowardice. And that's what I really want to talk about are these triggers around money. The triggers that push you toward money, but also those triggers that either push you away from money or for most people make you so afraid of money, you refuse to even think about it. Oh, no, can't think about it. Oh, no, can't talk about it. Oh, no, that's just evil. That's just for the bad people, whoever you categorize those bad people as. Let's start acknowledging we are smart people. We really are, each and every one of us. If you are smart enough to be able to get online and you are smart enough to push play on this video and you're smart enough to follow me this far, you are smart. Just because you make a stupid financial move doesn't make you any different, okay? We need to really pull in some Carol Dweck here, mindset, okay? Carol Dweck, the book Mindset, or YouTube her, watch her TED Talk. She talks about how there are the people who believe in a growth mindset. I failed, so now I can learn. And the people with the fixed mindset. I failed, so now I am a failure. Very different outlooks on life. And I really want you to look at your money, look at your triggers. Figure out where money, or even the topic or the idea of money, is causing you pain. This is what I started with. This is my system that focuses on the triggers, okay? We're going to go on the surface level at first, and then we'll get in a little bit deeper. So your money sign was started with a penny that my son Aiden had found on the way to the grocery store, and a terrible knowledge of Excel. I am not a computer whiz at all. If any of my computery stuff looks cool, I have hired somebody, I promise you, okay? I don't have that skill. But it was simple. Address all of the areas of my money that was at war in my lack of a bank account. So I came up with 4 categories that I have, okay? There's the spend account. Look, I have to spend money, especially at that time. I had to spend money. Their dad was working at Maggiano's Little Italy. We didn't have very much money. We could get a little bit of food stamps, and whatever that was, I had to make that stretch. So I had to spend money. You can't avoid that. I do not appreciate the people who tell you never, ever, ever spend money, because that just causes more emotional pain and more triggers. So understand and accept you have to spend money. Now there's the invest account. Okay? I can't work forever. So at some point my money has to work for me. Look, I don't come from a family that's supportive of me. I don't come from a family that, even talks to me at this point, and vice versa. So I have to understand it is on me, 100% on me. When I had my surgery in August, I was the one who had to pay for it cash. I was the one who had to miss out on the work, and I was the one who had to go back to work, even with, still healing. So I understand firsthand how scary and frightening and essential it is. You have to have an investment account, because at some point your money has to be able to support you. The give account. Now, this is not giving money to your church. This is not giving money to friends and family. That is not what I'm talking about here, okay? That goes to the spend account. You want to donate to your church, you want to donate to your sister or your brother or your cousin or your uncle, go ahead. Absolutely, that's a beautiful thing, but understand it comes from the spend account. You're spending money. The give account is where I think a lot of financial books are missing as well. I have so much to give to this world that 40 hours a week watching a clock is stupid. Okay, it really is. First and foremost, I haven't worked 40 hours in years. I mean, we're talking 60 to 70 to 100 hours a week is what I work now. But I'm talking to the generalized people where you're going to get into a job where you're working 40 hours a week. That's not you giving to the world. This account, I have seen so many people like light up and be a completely different person. I have so many examples, but I haven't asked them if I can put this out publicly in a book. So I will not share those examples yet. Maybe in the future after I get some feedback from people I can. And if this has been out for a couple of years now and you're listening to this and you have used the Give account, which I will explain later, just understand there is a Give account now, to give your unique gift to the world, please share it. Even if you don't give me credit, dude, I'm not here for fame. I'm here to help, okay? So if you want to give me credit, fantastic. If not, don't worry. This is you. This is for you. Make it yours. Just put it out there more. Let's get this message out there that we have more to give than just being a wage slave. Now, net worth. I had no clue what it was, hence the misspelling. But Forbes magazine had said it was important, so I added it. Like when I first put in net worth, I did not understand it was two separate words. Net for how much you have after bills and taxes, and then a separate word, worth, which is obviously how they're going to evaluate you. Your net worth. I didn't know what that was, but Forbes magazine, richest people, had net worth on it, and I'd kind of remembered that, and I was like, well, it's got to be something important, so cool, I'm going to throw it in there. That's honestly what it was. I knew I had to spend money. I knew my money had to help me. I knew I had more to give to this life than just freaking working jobs and raising children. And net worth. Something about that is about what rich people do, and I wanted to be rich. So that's how I started it. I don't even know where I'm at. Let's see. Push down. There we go. Okay. So these were the many battles that were constantly going on in my mind when it came to money. Okay. I knew I had to spend, but I needed to have some savings. And I knew I needed to invest, but I had to pay all the bills. Like I had to put in the hours, but I didn't want to be working because it was boring and I had no interest in it. I'm sorry, I really don't care if you care about having extra pickles on your sandwich or not. I don't care. That was not important to me. Or, oh, I had to have the unsalted fries. I'm sorry, dude. You're deep frying your fucking fries. If you don't want salt on them, go home and use an air fryer. I had no freaking sympathy for these people who didn't want to put effort but wanted to be treated like royalty. Like, seriously, people. I was back and forth constantly in my own head, not to mention doing the labor jobs, not to mention, the physicality of running after two little kids. It was just back and forth constantly, and it was draining. If you've ever been at war in your own mind, you understand what I mean. It's just draining. Now, my first step was to categorize each battle almost like a Magic the Gathering tournament. If you've never played the card game Magic the Gathering, first off, I am sorry your life is that empty. I really suggest that you go out and just learn and play. I look at it like a better advanced game of chess. But in Magic the Gathering, you have these cards. They have different... So if you've never played it, I'm just going to keep it very basic. They have different moves that you can do. And you put it on top of a stack. Now, some of the cards can take effect before other ones, which just declares the order in which they get to play. So sometimes you can put, let's just say, a defense up against another person, but they might be able to change where it affects you on the stack to where if it goes underneath your card on the stack, it happens first. So they could technically hurt you before you're able to defend yourself. That's a very basic understanding of how to stack on the Magic the Gathering tournament game. So what I would do is I would have it like, I'd have a situation where I had to buy some shoes for the kids or something, and then I wanted to go buy a real estate program to learn what this stuff was about. So what I would say is, well, spending stacks net worth. So I understood and justified it in myself that while I did want to do both, I had to do one before the other. I'm sorry, the net worth is never ever spend again, so if I put money into savings. But if I want to do, say, the real estate example that I gave, let's say it was just one of those freebie $50 real estate things to learn, or maybe even a $20 real estate book that I wanted to learn, and I also wanted to, say, just buy some extra makeup. Well, then I would say investing, the real estate, stacks the makeup, the spending. And spending, I have to have food, I have to have groceries, I've got to have rent, I've got to have electricity. All of that would stack, say, my give account. My give to the world is being a writer. That's my give. Anything I put into the give account, that goes toward this YouTube channel, writing this book, these lights for it, which are blinding me, but apparently everyone wants to see how bright I am, so, it's all good. This microphone, all of that has come through years of putting little bits of money into the give account. This is what I give to the world, but at the time, spending that money of rent and electricity, that stacks my give. So I had to understand how to, it might not always be fair, especially like in the game of Magic the Gathering. The whole point is to undermine your opponent. So yeah, there's moves that aren't fair, but that's how it is. That's how I justified it for myself. Now, for some reason, I'm not a psychologist, I don't know the psychology behind it, but for some reason, I know just by bringing attention to these battles, these money battles that were going on inside of me and naming them, it gave me a sense of control over the fighting. I couldn't control that their father left me. I couldn't control that my mother came in pretending to be nice after 6 years and only did it so she could kidnap my children. I couldn't control that I was working these literally minimum dead-end jobs and walking back to this empty cement slab of an apartment that had cockroaches all over it. Like, I couldn't control those things. But just by naming the battles of money, that gave me a sense of control. That allowed me to see, wait a minute, okay. If I can see it, if I can name it, if I can understand it, I can begin to play the game better. Now, for a time, I tried to assign a hierarchy to each category. Spending always comes first, or investing always comes first. And it would work for a bit. But then life would change up again, and it got sabotaged. I felt so defeated. Dude, I cannot tell you, gentlemen and ladies who are listening to this, how many times I have redone this system. I mean, for myself, I started with an idea, and then, it would work, and then nothing. And then, it would work, and then nothing. And I cannot tell you how many times I've just been like, this isn't going to work. And then I'd be like, well, wait, it would work if I just did this. And I tweak it a little bit, and I tweak it a little bit. Because I didn't want to be broke forever. But I needed a system that would work when I started with a penny, but would work as well when I start having multiple income streams, and I start having, more money than I even know what I have. And I needed something. But every time I tried to make it concrete, every time I tried to do it, it would just get sabotaged. And I felt defeated from time to time to time to time. But I knew I had something important. I knew it. You got your spend account. You have your invest account. You have your give account. And you have your net worth account. That's important. Those are important. Every single time life switched up, it always came back down to those 4 categories. So I knew I had something important. Because look, every thought about money can be firmly defined by one of these categories. Think about it. I mean, challenge me if I'm wrong. Your spend account. We need to spend money. Who doesn't spend money? Give me a break. Who doesn't spend money? Your invest account. We need money to grow, okay? Now, if you're under the age of 40, maybe you're, a hothead 20-year-old, or at this point, 30-year-old still living off of parents, and you're like, that's not true. I can work forever. Anytime I need more money, I just go out and work more. Okay, well, wait until your first major surgery. Wait until your first, major out of the working game, and then start asking yourself, would it have been nice if my money was already working for me? You'll see. Your give account. We need to have a life. We need to have a life. I have met people who are like, Americans are so weird. And I'm like, I agree, but why? And they're just like, look, in most of the world, they work to live. Their priority is family. Their priority is living. Their priority is traveling and experiencing life. But in America, we're put through this system that says, you live to work. Oh, you live to work. Oh, you got to get straight A's. Oh, you got to sit down and shut up. Oh, you got to sit down and shut up. And then listen to the bell, listen to the bell, listen to the bell. Oh, go to work, go to work, go to work. No. We need to have a life. There is more inside of us that we can give than just typing on a computer or flipping a fucking burger or stocking a shelf. Don't get me wrong, I have done all of those things. And at certain stages, yes, it's nice to be able to contribute to society, but when society tells you that's all you should contribute, that's bullshit. We need to have a life. And then the net worth. We need to accumulate some wealth. And I knew it was important, but I didn't realize how important it was until I started getting into those higher levels of income. And it, well, personally pisses me the fuck off, but it is true. The higher your net wealth, your net worth, I saw the word wealth. The higher your net worth, the more opportunities you get. That's a fact. And anybody who has a high net worth, they can tell you the same. So look, I knew that much. We've got the categories, we've got to put them in, okay? And at that point in time, that's all I had to do was figure out how in a way that wouldn't throw me off again. That's where I got tripped up. So for right now, just remember, you have got spend account, invest account, give account, and your net worth account. Thank you so much for listening to this one. I know it's a little bit longer, but anytime I start talking about money triggers, they're going to be a bit longer because that's my focus. That is my focus. I don't give a shit how you spend your money. I'm not here to be a financial advisor. You want to go out and buy shoes? Go ahead and buy shoes. You want to go out and buy, 15 million shares of Shiba Inu? Go ahead and do that. But my whole thing is understanding why you're spending the way you're spending, understanding those deeper inner triggers. I really want you to ask yourself, in what ways has money hurt me? In what ways does money scare me or intimidate me? Anything like that. I just want you to have that little ticker in the back of your head to start asking, what could be going on here? I want to thank you for listening to this. You can always help me out. Obviously, if you subscribe, like the video, share the link, or comment, that really helps the algorithm. You can buy my books on Kindle. I don't know how to make that clicky thing. Like I said, I'm not the technical person. Eventually, hopefully, this all looks like good and fancy, and down in the descriptions or whatever, you can click on stuff and it looks all good. But for now, this is what you get. Speaking of which, this is what you get. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my pajamas, haven't even finished my morning tea yet. But here's my thing. No matter how busy your life gets or how demanding it is, and you have to go to work and you have the kids and you have all the other stuff, if you have a give to the world, not only do you have to prioritize it financially, you got to prioritize it time-wise. Absolutely, you got to prioritize it. This is my give. I have spent 10 years growing and building and developing it, and I'm finally at a point of being able to share it on a large level. But I want you to understand, at first, my give was just sitting down in the morning and grabbing a little notepad or something and writing down a few notes. That's how my give started out. Just writing out a few notes, maybe tweaking the Excel sheet a little bit, thinking about how can I give it there. There is no timeline to your money sign. There is no timeline to you. I want you to understand, sometimes you're going to go faster, sometimes you're going to go slower. But no matter what, just understand the concepts, the next step, that little bit at a time. If you put enough grains of sand together, you will get a fucking mountain. Okay, so please don't self-sabotage thinking you've got to do something fast or you got to do something big and grandiose. Understand that these things take time, and sometimes they take a lifetime. So please be gentle with yourself as you start on this journey, because it should be the rest of your life that you go on this financial journey. As always, I'm going to end you with live, learn, and upgrade. That is my personal philosophy for myself. And that is me and my son, Aiden. His dad had gotten us a cake, and it says future best-selling author. His sister was asleep outside of that picture frame. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of all three of us. But I do dedicate this book to my son, Aiden, and my daughter, Ilya. I do miss them every moment I'm away from them, but I am building this for their future. I love them both dearly, and sometimes you've got to do things in life that are for other people. having my integrity and staying true to my path and not getting caught up in all the toxicity and the mind games again. I will not be my father. I will not commit suicide. I will not abandon my children's future. I will be here for them, and when they're old enough that I can hand them these books, I can hand them these resources and say, look, I'm here to help guide you if that's what you want. Otherwise, find your journey and do it your way. That is my give. That is why I do this. You don't have to have a terrible, tragic story. Trust me, you don't. I'm happy when I meet people who don't have a tragic story, who can just say, no, my parents were great to me. No, nobody taught me. School didn't teach me this stuff. I've just been working. I didn't know I could do something else. So just really think about those triggers in the back of your head and about what's going on, and is there areas of pain? Are there not areas of pain? Either way, I want to thank you for listening this far. I appreciate you. And this is, let's see, recorded November 5th, 2021. I guess now 4 a.m. Dang. And that's just a little, I don't know, future thing. A couple years from now, people look back and go, oh, wow, that is so cool. But I'm being raw. I'm being honest. It's not perfect. I'm in freaking pajamas right now, but I'm getting it done. As Grant Cardone says, get it done and get it out. Get it done and get it out, okay? So if you've got something financially or give that you know you need to be doing, get it done. Get it out. We're stronger together. Let's build this. Let's have some success. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a beautiful day.